Building a passive home in the community has been a really powerful experience. The benefits of a passive home are incredible, the difference it can make. We had a sign out the front of the house that just explains what a passive home is, and the amount of interest that we've had from the community has been phenomenal. For example, we had a lady across the street from where we're building that's come over and learned what a passive house is. And she's just recently built a new house herself, and her reaction was, wow, if I knew that what a passive house was before we built, we would have definitely done a passive house. It's incredible to hear that, and it just really reinforces that we're doing the right thing.
The city views Passive House as a great tool. It comes with really important checks and balances, great education that will lead people to give the city the outcomes that ultimately we're seeking. And again, that's very low greenhouse gas, very healthy and comfortable buildings for our residents.
Passive house, you can save 90% of the energy compared to a regular house. So it's not just a good idea or something that's kind of neat. It's like a major change. Can you imagine a house where you use 10% of the energy that you're used to using to heat the home?
Where people have built to the passive house standard, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's really the change we're hoping to see, is whether you end up, all buildings are built to a passive house standard or not, once you understand those principles and you really realize why building one way is much better than another way, I think that's really the change we're trying to see happen.
Passive house standard is a important standard, and Passive House Canada has been very supportive in the education. There's many training courses for trades, for designers, to be able to understand the Passive House standard and to build properly.
What's important is for architects to understand that the Passive House Canada is there to support the effort, to aid them in getting to understand the Passive House standard, to educate them in what it is, and to support them in their questions. And so we're working towards databases and facilities and thermal bridging details and products to help aid that. And that's an important role for Passive House Canada as we identified.
I accepted the role to sit on the AIBC panel as the builder to be able to share our knowledge of passive home construction. And what an honor it was to be able to provide that information and to share our experiences. The questions that we got were very informed, very well thought out, and there's a lot of enthusiasm from the architects as to the Passive House movement. The event was sold out in 6 hours. After the panel, everyone stuck around and we had great discussions, and in order to wrap up the evening, we had to flash the lights to be able to tell people it was over. Yeah, it was an incredibly successful event. At the end of the day, I'm really proud to go home to my family, knowing I'm a part of this movement involving the City of Vancouver, Passive House Canada. We have a responsibility now to be able to implement and be leaders to pave the path for the future. And there's no time like the present to work together to really make an impact in our community.